Welcome back, Daybreakers. The time right now is 7:14, and we have a special guest here on 13 News Now Plus. From the American Heart Association, we have cardiologist and board member Dr. Deepak Talreja joining us to help us understand your cholesterol, particularly when it comes to screenings, results, and taking action. Thank you so much for waking up and being here this morning. I've enjoyed having members of the Heart Association here throughout the week. This is important stuff we got to talk about.
Yes.
Okay, so when it comes to your cholesterol levels, first let's talk about the importance of screenings and knowing your numbers. How vital is that to our health?
It is truly life-saving. And why I say that is cholesterol buildup in arteries is what causes heart attacks, sudden cardiac death, strokes, and other cardiovascular disease. And the first step to preventing the building up of cholesterol in the arteries is knowing what your numbers are and responding to them.
So if I want to know what my numbers are, how do I go about doing that? Where do I go? I imagine the doctor's office is a good place, but are there other options too?
Absolutely. The easiest is the doctor's office. A lot of corporations have their own health screening where you can get blood tests done, and once a year they'll do that for you. But really the easiest is going into your doctor's office, and they usually do annual blood tests on you, asking for your cholesterol numbers if they're not automatically doing it on your own. They can arrange it, and often it can be drawn right in the doctor's office or in one of the lab facilities or hospitals around us.
So when we look at numbers, first of all, you have displays here. So
Yes.
let's get to this now. We'll get to more questions about that. But what are we looking at? What have you brought for us?
Absolutely. So this is what the heart looks like. This is about the size of your or my heart. And we see these red lines are arteries that run on the surface of it. Those arteries carry blood to the heart itself, so it gets oxygen and sugar. This is a normal looking artery, and if you look at that artery, what you can really see is it has a couple layers of tissue and a nice big opening for that blood to flow.
Okay.
As cholesterol builds up, we see the cholesterol starts to build up, narrowing the side of the artery, and then it gets worse and worse. And what ultimately happens that causes a heart attack is a mostly narrowed artery will develop that red blood clot inside it. And a person goes from feeling fine to a massive heart attack in the order of minutes.
So you talked about going from feeling fine to having a heart attack. So that now leads me, what are the signs? Are there any ways that I can know before I get to this that maybe I'm here or here?
Great question. And the answer is you can't feel it when you're here or here. That's why knowing your cholesterol, and then if a person has high cholesterol and enough risk factors, we do tests like CAT scans and stress tests, and we can get some indication before it gets to this level of a heart attack that a problem is building up.
So numbers, we keep saying numbers. Can you kind of give me some examples? I mean, I know when I would go with my mom and we'd use those blood pressure machines, even now to this day, I'm always having to remind myself what is good and what is bad. What are actual numbers that we should know when it comes to cholesterol?
What a great question. And I think most people are in that category where they remember hearing some numbers at some point, but they don't really know what's good and bad.
Exactly.
We generally say your total cholesterol should be less than 200. Now, truthfully, a normal total cholesterol is probably something like 120 to 150.
Okay.
But in Western nations like ours, industrialized nations, we don't eat right, we don't exercise. So we say normal total cholesterol is less than 200. But the most important number is the bad cholesterol, or LDL.
Okay.
And that should generally be below 130 for the average person. And if you're higher risk, we try to bring it even lower than that.
Okay, can you go a little bit further in that in specifying? So what are we talking about, the difference between the 130 and the 200?
Great question. And so the total cholesterol includes the bad cholesterol, LDL, the good cholesterol, HDL, and your triglycerides. And that's why focusing on what's really the problem, the bad LDL cholesterol, that's the single number I think everyone should know for themselves. If your LDL is above 130 and you've never had heart trouble, it's too high. If you've had heart trouble and your LDL is above 100, it's too high. And those are the numbers I would have people keep in mind. LDL should be less than 130 for everything.
So what are some of the factors that lead to that LDL going higher when it shouldn't be?
Great question. And so LDL, cholesterol in general, is an animal product. Humans and animals make it, plants don't. So you can't get any into your body if you're just eating plants. Now, you still make your own cholesterol. So the two reasons people have high cholesterol is they're eating too much food that has cholesterol in it, or genetically their bodies make too much cholesterol.
Okay, so we got about a minute left. You have really, I mean, even for me, I'm sitting here thinking I'm learning so much about this. But if viewers out there, you need one thing for them to know before we head out into this break, what would it be?
You're giving great advice when you say every person should get their cholesterol checked and learn to look at that number. Over the years, make a log of it and keep an eye on what's going on. And then exercise, eating right, and medicines for those who need it are the ways we can treat abnormal numbers.
All right, Dr. Deepak, I'm so enjoying this conversation, and I know that hopefully somebody out there is listening to this, they learned something that could hopefully save their life as well and keep them healthy. So we do appreciate that. I think we're going to have you later on. I don't think this is it. We got more to talk about. So you want to stick with us here on Daybreak here on 13 News Now Plus.